Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Wear Many Hats. I'm your host, Mark Robinson. Great to see you all here again. Hope you're enjoying the content that we're creating so far. As ever, please like, follow and share all of the content that we provide to you guys. By growing the brand and growing what we do, we get more exposure, which obviously goes out to more people looking to transition into a role within facilities management. Really pleased today, we've got somebody completely different for you, very different to anybody else we've had on the show. We've got somebody from one of our critical national infrastructure organisations, Affinity Water. So I'd like to introduce you all to Anna Gur. Hello, Anna. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Are you having a good day?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Yeah, you've had a day off today, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, well, we've been working hard.
Got a nice 8 hours sleep before I got here.
No way.
Yeah.
So you're nice and refreshed then?
As fresh as can
The
be.
brain is working clear.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Okay, listen, really simple one to begin with. Tell us a little bit about your journey into facilities management. How's your career panned out? How did you end up doing what you're doing as a facilities manager for Affinity Water? So
as with most of your guests so far, fell into it unexpectedly. It wasn't an intentional move for me. Definitely wasn't an academic, so left school, just kind of tried out a few different things, went into banking, was an estate agent once upon a time, and joined a temping agency and was placed at Affinity Water as a facilities manager. Really? And then that's it? You've kind of been there ever since? Nearly 9 years and I haven't left.
Oh, wow. So obviously you touched on the fact that you worked in banking, finance and real estate. Those industries not for you? You didn't enjoy them or you just didn't take
I did for a time. I found I got bored quickly. Oh, really? I think that's where facilities suits me quite well. Yeah. No one day is ever the same.
This is very true.
You never have the opportunity to get bored.
Yeah. Without a doubt. So you joined Affinity Water, obviously as a temp.
Yeah.
How long were you temping there?
So I was temping for about 4 months before they made my role permanent.
Right, okay. And what was that role when you...
So initially I was put on the help desk. So I was doing a little bit of everything. Yeah. I helped out on reception. I went into the post room. Yeah. And help desk, just general day-to-day inquiries and queries, maintenance issues coming through, things like that. Right,
okay. And then you steadily... So you kind of started at the coalface then. So you started right at the very bottom. Yeah. And you know, you touch on facilities management across all of those roles because they all encompass what a facilities manager does. When you were doing that, were you like, right, I want to get into facilities now, I want to do this, I want to move up, or did it just kind of somebody came up to you and went, I think you'd be really good in facilities?
I think it happened quite organically. I enjoyed all of the different roles that I did, but predominantly I was help desk based. Yeah. The lady that was the office services manager was going on maternity leave. Yeah. They were offering us a comment. Right. Nobody else wanted to take it. Yeah. The manager at the time was like, why don't you just give it a try? I'd only been doing it for a couple of years at that point. I wasn't sure that I was 100% ready, but why not take the opportunity if it's offered to you? So I stepped in and did that role while she was off.
And then you were off?
Yeah.
That was it?
That was it.
Facilities... cut you open and you bleed facilities.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's me now.
Okay, so you've had various roles I see from your LinkedIn profile, Affinity Water, inclusive of facilities manager, quality and communications manager, regional facilities manager, and so on. So you've clearly taken opportunities when they've come your way. Do you have like an attitude towards that? Is there something within you that wants to try new things within an organisation and develop further? And if there is, how did you acquire that skill? How did that come to you?
So I think I'm just always striving to learn more, understand what's going on around me, listening to what's going on, seeing what's going on, and just kind of taking every opportunity that comes. So I'm really fortunate. Affinity Water is a company that offers like internal opportunities first. They're very keen to foster that from within. So I've just had a lot of these opportunities come my way, and it's always worth a try, isn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt. So in terms of, have there been any mentors like along your facilities management journey that have guided you and helped you and, you know, made that path a little bit easier for you?
I think I've just been really fortunate to have managers that have seen something in me, that have kind of had that belief in me, that's given me the belief in myself. So initially... having worked in estate agents, it was quite a competitive industry. Quite often you were fighting against people for roles rather than being fostered into a role. Right. Okay. So that was quite a nice change of pace for me.
So more of a supportive environment as opposed to sink or swim.
Yeah,
You know, that kind
more
of...
like, I think you can do this. Why don't you give it a try, rather than good luck.
Yeah, good luck. You can have it, but we're not giving you any guidance.
Exactly that.
Okay, that's brilliant. So, in terms of learning and development and things like that, have you taken it upon yourself during your career to acquire new skills, to get involved in development opportunities and so on and so forth? Like, what's your attitude been towards that?
So as much as possible, I always want to learn. So much to my mum's distress, I was a but why child. I've always needed to understand the why. And I think that kind of bodes quite well in my career, because I always want to learn. I always want to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of opportunity to learn and grow in my current role. Most recently, I completed a level 5 CMI.
Oh, well done. Congratulations.
So thank you. As I said before, I'm not an academic, so it was really nice to get a bit of substance behind me.
For those that don't know, what is a level 5 CMI? And I'm asking because I don't know.
So it's essentially a foundation degree in chartered management. So it covers all aspects of management, from finance to project management to people management, and it just gives you a really good basis for managing a team and growing within a business.
Yeah. So how long was it? How long did it take you to obtain that qualification?
18 months.
18 months.
Yeah.
That's quite quick then, isn't it, really?
It felt like a really
I bet it did, but
whilst I was doing it.
Yeah. So did you have to offer up your own free time to do the studying?
So you were meant to take time out of your day-to-day role. So as a business, when putting us forward, the acceptance was that you, at least 2 days of your week was meant to be dedicated to that. But I'm a manager anyway, so every day of my week was dedicated to that, and I just had to make time for assignments and learning.
Yeah, and how did you said you're obviously not academic, or you weren't, at least when you were younger.
I'm still not. It was tough. Every module was a 3,000 word assignment that you had to submit. It does not come naturally to me at all, but I just got it done. But a little
bit outside of your comfort zone.
Very much so.
So you pushed yourself into an area where I don't feel comfortable, but I'm going to grow and I'm going to develop.
I really had to. I think we often have to write business cases to submit for funding and things like that, and I think that sets me up quite well to do those better. Right.
Okay. Can I ask what size is the team that you manage now?
There are 10, I believe.
10, I bet that keeps you busy.
Yeah, it does. I'm lucky. They're a really good team. They've been with me the majority of the time. I worked with most of them as I moved through the team and worked my way up. So we've got a really good level of respect and trust.
Yeah. That's so important, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You know, to have that collaborative environment with people you enjoy working with, it can make... It just makes everything far more proficient.
It really is. I know I can trust them. For the most part, they tick along quite nicely without my input.
Yeah. So it's a bit crazy then, isn't it? Yeah, which is good. That's only because you're managing it properly, Anna. You're delegating properly. That's what we like to see.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, so what would you say the most challenging part of your role is? What do you find either A, the most difficult, or B, just incredibly hard? Like, I don't want to do this.
I think that you're constantly juggling. You know, there's always, 10 balls in the air and you're focusing on one and you're dropping the other. It's the constant eyes on everything at all times. So you're not dropping the balls. As I mentioned before, I'm managing a project. I'm doing that as well as managing my team and doing my day-to-day role. And so it's just always keeping your eye on the ball, basically, is the biggest challenge. You don't want to forget something and cause a big problem.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So do you, you mentioned obviously you're managing a project now. Do you get involved in project works or have you had, is it something, did you put your hand up and say, I want to be involved in project works? Yes. Or did somebody come and say,
So we kind of act as a work stream.
Right.
So estates are a work stream within a project. Sometimes that project will be more build heavy or more office move heavy. And if that's the case, then I would be the lead because that's my bag.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And being the controlling person that I am,
right.
I'd rather be there overseeing everything and making sure it's going correctly than stepping back, leaving that in somebody else's hands and then picking up the pieces at the end.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, so similarly, we've talked about what you find the most challenging. What do you find the most rewarding?
I think for me, I'm really a people person. That's, I want to give the staff an environment that works for them. So for me, it's when we make changes that people appreciate. It's, the little thank yous that you get as you're walking through the halls when you're a facilities manager. sadly, everyone kind of knows who you are. So you can't walk very far without someone calling your name or saying something. Yeah. But quite often when someone pulls you aside and said, that little thing you did, that's made a big difference. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes it worthwhile for me.
That's fine. Another question. So when you originally kind of took on that temp role and then you were looking at facilities management, what was your impression of what facilities management was, and how did that change once you started delivering in the area?
So I thought, for me, sitting on the help desk, watching all of the managers go off into meetings, it kind of looked like everyone just sat around talking about stuff a lot. Yeah. It wasn't until I got into the role where you realise how many cogs are involved in kind of keeping that facility moving.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that was the
big change.
Understanding, all the different things. It's not just sitting in a meeting and talking about something. It's the concentrating on making sure all of those little things work together. Yeah. To keep the overall, business running.
Do you think you realised how much actually went into it?
No.
Right. And then when you got it, was it a bit of a shock? Was it like, oh my God, I can't believe this is what these guys do?
Yeah, it was definitely a shock. Like I said, I didn't know facilities management was a thing before I did it.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people say that, isn't
it? Quite often when people ask me what I do and I tell them, I'll say, do you know what that is? And they'll say, no. Yeah. I have to explain it to them. So, I didn't really realise everything that went into it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people think it's like a caretaker or, they don't necessarily understand. Or
putting the picture frames up or whatever it may be. Yeah.
Don't ask him a question. They'll start talking about health and safety,
Anything from waste to cleaning to project management, it's all encompassing.
So, because in FM, you are kind of a jack of all trades, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've got to have a broad understanding of most things in terms of how the operations of a business functions and so on and so forth. How do you find, dealing with those different elements? Do you find it to be a challenge, or do you quite enjoy the fact that you get to dip your toe in this and then dip your toe in that?
I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So actually, it was Clerkenwell Design Week, and one of my furniture suppliers said to me, don't you just like this side of things? Like, wouldn't you rather just focus on one thing?
Yeah.
And actually, no, I wouldn't. I like that, I'm managing a project and someone is messaging about being too cold, and at the same time I've got my team dealing with maybe a problematic person downstairs. Yeah. It just doesn't get boring.
Variety is the spice of life, as they say. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and I think a lot of people that come on the show, they seem to say very similar things. The fact that no 2 days are the same is they all work incredibly hard, because a lot of people don't realise how hard facilities managers work. They work incredibly hard.
It's a lot.
But like everybody kind of says the same thing, which is quite nice to see.
Yeah, it takes a special kind of person to enjoy this. I think we're probably all slightly crazy for enjoying it. Yeah. It works.
Okay. So how did you navigate the challenges associated with COVID during the pandemic? Did you, that was a challenging time, particularly in FM, more so than probably any other industry, I think.
Yeah.
Well, apart from healthcare. Healthcare, straight, really hard. FM number 2, I would say, kind of on the list.
It really put us at the forefront of the business. I'd say pre-COVID, I could kind of skirt by under the radar, and no one really considered what I was doing or where I was. Whereas as soon as COVID hit, all of a sudden, well, where are the cleaners? Where are we going to get the masks from? Where are we going to get the sanitizer from? Yeah. How are we going to keep our doors open? We can't close. We're a water company. So all of our offices had to remain open. They all had to be what was classed as COVID secure. So it was for us, risk assessments, thinking about the journey for our staff from the door to their desk to wherever they need to be in the day. Yeah. And making sure they were as safe as possible at all times.
Yeah. So do you have to develop new ways of delivering the service that you would have ordinarily delivered in a sort of a set way? And that must have been quite nerve-wracking, I suppose, given the stakes at the time.
Yeah, so it was on my mind constantly that all I wanted to be able to do was keep the staff safe. Yeah. I didn't want anyone to get ill because of a bad decision that we had made or something that we didn't put in place. So I probably went quite overkill as far as the measures that I put in place. We had the temperature devices at the front desks. Yeah. We had every other desk, so no one was sitting either directly opposite or directly next to anyone. You had to wear masks in the office. We were doing fogging of sites if there was
electrostatic fogging.
If there was a COVID case, we were sanitizing sites before people could go back to it. So just just, like I said, didn't want anyone to have gotten ill and it have been like something I could have stopped.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a dream now, doesn't it? It's like now, you know,
a nightmare. I think
yeah,
is
well,
more
no,
accurate.
yeah, but it just like when I look back on it, me personally, I'm just like, I just can't believe it happened. Does that make sense?
No, I agree. I think,
and just what had to change as a direct result of it, and how it impacted the industry, and you know how it probably impacted facilities management professionals just in terms of stress.
It was a real challenge.
Like
I think at that time was when, so I'm regional facilities manager now, as you mentioned, facilities manager before.
Yeah.
My responsibility pre-COVID was only for the head office. It was during COVID when it was realised actually we needed to have some sort of helping hand in the other sites to make sure everything was running smoothly and everyone was keeping safe. So for me, it made quite a big difference to me career-wise.
Right. Okay. So you actually received, in essence, a promotion, really.
Yeah.
As a direct result of the good work that you did during that initial COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's well done. That's brilliant.
Thanks.
That's really, really cool. Okay. Cool. So moving on to sort of other areas. So, what advice would you give to a young person or somebody who is working in another industry but thinking about getting into FM? How would you, if I was, you know, a security guard or a front of van, I came to you and said, Anna, I'd really like to get into FM. What's the best way to do it? Like, what advice would you give?
So I feel like the way that I got into the industry is a really good way to do it. So to start off, you know, at the bottom, work your way around the roles, understand every aspect of it and kind of understand where you fit best.
Yeah.
And then from there, just always ask questions, be willing to learn. And I think we're probably the least qualified as far as, you know, you don't need a degree to become a facilities manager. But if you're willing to put the work in, then there's so many places for you to go.
Yeah. It's very much experience-based, isn't it? I think rather than qualification-based. Qualification's great, but I think in the industry they prefer the experience as opposed to the theory, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's always nice, you know, having completed the CMI, to have a bit of theory behind the decisions you make.
Yeah, a bit of rationale,
Nothing beats having lived it, worked it, understood it, you know, at the time. Yeah. That you can't teach that. Okay. There's so many different things that could happen.
Yeah, really true, really true. So what about things like networking? So is networking an important element that you've developed over your career, or do you have a network that you lean into when you come across things that you don't understand?
I'm really bad. Like, I don't network at all.
Really?
Yeah, I'm in my little affinity bubble, and I network. You know, there are so many people that I can learn from within the business that not necessarily within my role, but that have done a similar role or that have, you know, moved through the business in different roles and achieved what they wanted to achieve. I kind of look at them as mentors rather than facilities colleagues that I call upon.
Yeah. So is that, do you think that's because Affinity Water is probably slightly different in terms of what you do as a business and how the business operates compared to, I don't know, a managing agent that's managing buildings or something like that? Is it because it's quite, what's the word? I can't think of the right word, but it's just different.
It's very different. You know, we, I was looking at our long service awards the other day, and there's someone that had been there for 50 years.
Really?
So many of my colleagues have been there 25, 30 plus years, that have seen it evolve, have like worked at different sites and understand different things. There's so much knowledge that I can tap into internally that that and the fact that my manager is, you know, there's nothing he doesn't know. So there's nothing I can go to him with that he doesn't have some sort of experience or advice to give me.
So it must be quite a good culture then. Like if you've got, because obviously you've been there a significant period of time. Sounds like a lot of people who go there, they don't tend to leave. So what's the culture there like, and how does that culture, how's that been fostered, and how is it kept the way it is?
So they're really focused on well-being. I think what they allow is for you to have a really good work-life balance. Yeah. And as the years have gone on, I think that's something that's becoming more and more important to people.
Very much so.
I mean, I know for me, if I ever was to consider another role, it would have to be something so spectacular. Yeah. Because I finish work at 4:30. Yeah. You know, I'm 20 minutes away from home. Well-being is key. You know, they're constantly, you know, free access to fitness apps and events going on. Yeah. I don't know that I would find that same atmosphere and culture elsewhere. And that's so important to me.
And obviously, culture has become a far more important thing post-COVID.
Yeah.
I think we've seen a massive shift, not just in our industry, but in multiple industries. But pre-COVID, not so much. You know, it was kind of shifting that way slowly, but not so much. So would you say that Affinity Water were kind of ahead of the curve in relation to that?
Yeah.
Prior to COVID, they were already doing the kind of things that a lot of companies are now adopting.
Yeah, I think what's quite funny is pre-COVID, I had started on a project which was trying to move us into more of a hybrid working role. We were reducing the desk ratio from 1-to-1 to 7-to-10.
Really?
And it was met with complete no's. Like, we can't do that. We can't work from home. We all need to have a desk. And then COVID hit and, you know, the tables turned and all of a sudden not everyone wanted to be in the office every day. And we actually did that project through COVID when everyone was quite happy not to be in.
Yeah. How have you found people returning to the office then?
So I would say it's you have two camps. You have the people who couldn't wait to get back, who love that atmosphere, who want to be able to talk to people. Yeah. And, you know, there's the odd few people that just actually quite like working from home. You know, they got a dog when COVID hit and they don't want to leave the dog at home.
Yeah.
You know, it's much easier to get your kids to and from school and things like that, which I fully understand.
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge for me now is to create like a hybrid workspace that gives everyone what they need so that they want to come in.
Yeah, quite challenging to cater for everybody though, isn't it? I think that's the big challenge.
It is. And I think, you know, you learn quite quickly that you'll never please everyone.
Yes.
But you can put things in place and make sure there's different settings so that everyone can do what they need to do when they need to do it.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. All right, so kind of sort of following on from that really is, you know, ESG, really.
Yeah.
What are your views on ESG, how it's evolved over the last sort of 5 or 10 years, where it is now and where do you see it going?
So for us, it's really important. As a water company, environment has to be in the forefront. And as an estates team, for us, it's more environment and social that will be our focus. So, you know, someone in land and property who looks after our sites, you know, making them more available to the public, you know, having more of a social value to our customers. For me, I'm more focused on the environment side of it. So our net zero strategy, how we're going to get our sites all in the right place so that, you know, we've got the minimum EPC ratings, and but you know that our carbon output is reasonable for what we do.
Yeah. So do you guys offset, or do you? How do you do it?
It's very much the case now where offsetting is no longer like offsetting has to be the worst case scenario. So you have to show that you're doing everything you can first before offset is an option. Yeah. So for me, it's making sure that our offices are more efficient. We recently had EPC certificates done on all of them. So just focusing on what we can do to improve them to get them all to a minimum D is what I'm hoping for. I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Like some of our sites are old listed buildings. I don't know how possible that actually is, but that's the hope. You know, as an office compared to a pumping station, our energy output is minimal.
Yes, of course.
But we have to show that we are doing everything in our power reasonably to make it as efficient as possible. Yeah.
I guess it's quite a challenge actually, because you've got to, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, I suppose, in your industry, because on one hand, the water has to be done a certain way. It needs to be pure so that there's not disease and things like that. So you have to follow certain parameters. That takes energy. And then you've got the other element where you're trying to, we want to get to net zero. We want to do X, we want to do Y. However, we're kind of stuck a little bit. So it must be quite tough. It
is. Luckily for me, focusing on offices, it's fairly straightforward. You know, when you're looking at pumping stations and a full fleet of vehicles that you're trying to change to electric, it is tough. But I think you just need to show that you're taking all reasonable measures to do it. I recently completed the domestic and non-domestic energy assessment training so that I could have a better understanding of the estate myself and know what changes were best to make.
Okay, that's really cool. And in terms of technology, you know, in terms of your daily duties and what you're involved in, whether it's cleaning, security, hard services, whatever, do you utilise any technology to aid in the delivery of the services that you think is good? You know, it's made a difference.
So when I first started, we actually only worked off of an email inbox.
Right.
So we do have like a works management system now.
It's like a CAFM system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is CAFM.
Okay.
So we use that system to make sure our PPMs are planned, that we know they're being done when we expect them to be done, and also as well to make sure the jobs that come in are being dealt with in a timely manner.
Right.
I'm looking at a new BMS system, and I'm hoping that something like that will give me better control of the building and better understanding of how it's working or what's not working, and so it can help me make the changes for like a more efficient building.
Yeah, are you looking at how AI can be integrated into that, and how AI can help? I don't know. I'm not a technical guy, but you know, how can where do you see where it's going with AI and how that can build into the systems that you put in place now?
Yeah,
Is that a consideration?
So. I'm hoping that. I don't know if it's something that I've just created in my mind or if it's actually possible, but I'm hoping the BMS system I have will be able to talk to the lights and talk to the assets so that I can know when there's something wrong or when something needs to be more efficient or needs to be serviced. I haven't seen any yet, but I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah. Do you have any sort of insights or where you think AI may go within the industry, how it may be utilised over the next 5 years? Any ideas? Or?
So it's hard to say. I'd like to think what AI will help us do is create more efficient buildings that we understand better.
Right.
I don't think AI can ever replace people for me.
Neither do I.
You know, I went into a shopping centre the other day and there was an electric mop or something, whatever it was doing, but there was also a cleaner following behind it. I think
a bit gimmicky, aren't they? Sometimes
people are key to us, and I don't think I'll ever be the person who's got the virtual receptionist or anything like that. But I do think it can help us streamline our processes and have offer a better service to a business.
We were chatting about holograms the other day because we were chatting about. Have you seen that ABBA show?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. Have you actually been to see it?
No. I've just seen videos of it.
A friend of mine went to see it, and apparently the holograms are amazing.
I mean, I saw one walking through the airport recently.
Really?
Just guiding you along.
Yeah. How did it look? Did it look like real?
I mean, once you get close up, you realise at a glance you might think, oh, wait a minute. But no, it's a hologram.
Yeah, I could see something like that feeding into AI in the next 5 years. I could see if that technology gets better.
Yeah, it can work.
Especially like front of house and things like that. Like if you were welcoming someone in or something like that, like a digital receptionist kind of. So that I could see that happening.
I think for me, because my receptionists do so much more than greet people, that it's like, it's nice to have a digital system to get people into, but you just can't beat humans as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's a fair comment, to be fair. Yeah. Pro-human.
Yeah.
There we go, yeah. Okay, brilliant. So what's next for you? What are your goals and aspirations, and where do you see your career going in the future?
So, I mean, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I think I've probably got a good few years of learning in me in my current role before I could really consider moving up in any way. I just want to keep learning. I'd like to work on different projects, understand different aspects of facilities and maintenance. And I guess if there's ever a job open at the Emirates, I'd take that. But
oh, really?
Otherwise, I think I'm going to be with Affinity.
Are you an Arsenal fan?
I am.
No way. We didn't screen it properly.
I'm sorry.
I'm joking. I'm a Man U fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm only messing. Okay. Don't worry about it. You should have seen the scowls you gave me when I said I was a Man U fan. Listen. That's brilliant. Okay, so learning, to me, it sounds like learning is a crucial element. Like you seem to want to be challenged, and it seems to me when you're no longer challenged, you want to get onto that next thing. So would you kind of say that's kind of how you've guided your career along those lines? Once you know what you're doing in one area, you want to move into something else and develop further.
Exactly that. So it's like an in-joke with the other managers within my team. If there's a course that comes up, I'm like, Anna will do it.
Yeah.
But I can't help but want to understand the why behind, and I'll always want to learn more and understand more of what I do.
Yeah.
Quite often if I've got contractors on site, I'll go and stand with them for a bit and just get a bit of understanding of what they're doing and why they're doing it. it's good to know what's going on.
No, I agree. So do you like a lot of facilities managers, they tend to have a bias between either soft or hard services. Where do you lean towards?
I think I'm very much soft services.
Yeah. Is that because of the people piece?
I think so, yeah.
Right, okay.
I think having worked on the help desk, I do have the hard services understanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would always be people for me.
Yeah. I always say hard services is dark magic to me. To be fair, when everyone says hard services, I'll just write my eyes glass over.
We've got a really good maintenance manager. Another one of the members of staff that have been there 25 plus years. So there's nothing he doesn't know. So I've always got that knowledge there in the background.
Yeah, you can always link into.
Yeah.
That's really great. It sounds like it's been a great opportunity to get a very broad, overarching understanding of the facilities management.
Yeah.
And especially because you look after so many different buildings in various areas and things like that. It sounds to me like it's a very interesting, dynamic role that's given you a real, just a real grounding, really.
Yeah, I think it has. I got really lucky. I think a lot of people would maybe work for a managing agent, have one building, then 4 buildings and build their way up. I've been lucky enough to have that experience in one place. Start off with the head office and then move on to the other sites and be able to learn along the way.
Yeah, and for quite a complex, organisation that has a lot of staff, a lot of moving parts, a lot of different people that you need to keep happy, and so on and so forth. So, it sounds to me like I think you're a lifer at Affinity Water.
I think I might
to be fair, and I think we'll speak again in 15 years, and you'll be running the place.
I don't know about that.
Okay, well, listen, thank you very much. But what about outside of work? What do you like to get up to when you're not managing buildings for a water company?
So I like to go out with my friends. I like eating nice food.
Yeah.
Drinking cocktails.
Yeah.
I love animals.
Yeah.
It's just me and my husband. So
have you got any animals?
Just 2 cats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are they called?
Molly and Clyde.
Molly and Clyde.
Yeah.
They're good, strong cat names. I think that's 2 strong cat names. That is.
There was once a Bonnie to go with the Clyde, but
oh no.
Yeah,
oh.
sadly. Yeah.
What, old age or?
Well, if you ask me, she met the love of her life and ran away.
Oh, she legged it.
Yeah, she's living happily ever after.
Right,
somewhere.
okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
If you ask my mum, she probably got run over.
No, mum. She's living in a forest.
She's living happily ever after.
With Tom the cat, and she's having a great time.
Wise cracking owl, living the dream.
They're out hunting rabbits. That's it. They're having a good time.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, then. Well, listen, Anna, that's the end of the show. Thank you very much. What do you think?
Yeah, it was really good. Thanks for having me.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us. A really interesting episode, guys. If anybody wants to reach out to Anna on LinkedIn, I'm sure that she would not mind receiving a message from you. But that's another episode, guys. Thank you very much, Anna, and thank you very much, listeners. See you later.